Welcome to the M of One Network Star Wars Celebration Spectacular. And this is going to be a full-on recap of what you missed not being at Star Wars Celebration. We have our very own M of One Network correspondent, Lauren, sitting over here, who was there covering, I think, literally every inch of that conference based on your
all over the place.
Based on your Instagram feed.
Yeah.
So we're just going to jump right into it, and Lauren is going to kind of run the show. We're going to ask a lot of questions. Patrick's going to be confused about who 90% of the people are that we're talking about.
Yeah.
But
it'll be okay.
So excited to hear about Star Wars Celebration Anaheim 2022.
I'm so excited.
Take it away, Lauren.
All right. So we'll start with where it all started, the big Lucasfilm panel. And I'll probably mainly talk about what I saw in panels and stuff because, the overall con is... Actually, no, I'll talk about that first. The overall convention is a little different than I think most things because, it's a Star Wars only convention. And I've been to, anime conventions, but it's not actually just anime. You can find anything there. And there was, I'm not going to say there was, never any other fandom represented in this building or anything, but, the reason everyone is there is Star Wars. Everything that can be is Star Wars. The only things that weren't Star Wars was, if a shop sold 75% Star Wars stuff, and then they also had some of the same Loungefly bags, and they had a few other different ones. You know what I mean?
But they primarily sold Ahsoka Loungefly bags.
Yeah. Well, good luck finding that one.
Yeah,
I wish. Everything there is Star Wars, and it's also interesting because everything there is actually officially licensed by Lucasfilm.
Right.
So Artist Alley and stuff doesn't work how it normally does, and nor do the other sellers. It's all very specific, approved stuff, and so you can't just make your fan art and bring it in there. So there's a lot less variety than I feel like there usually is at most conventions, even with just the type of merch you're seeing, because the Artist Alley was what Kate was doing, and that it's each person sells maybe 3 posters max, or whatever has already been licensed by Lucasfilm. So it's a very different type of show, and they're only selling those things at their table. It's not I could go there and if I was there, bring all my pins and stuff.
Right.
Not good. Not allowed at all. So
tight reins.
Yeah, and so I would say there's a lot more high end brands that all had special stuff there. So Sideshow Collectibles had a huge booth there. Funko had an insane booth there that was all decked out, animatronics, music, photo ops, really over the top. Very cool.
Probably their same setup.
It was different than the one at the store because we went to the store.
No.
Oh,
okay. What I'm saying is, I wonder if it's similar to what they bring when they go to San Diego Comic-Con.
Yes, I'm sure it's but they had it all Star Wars themed. So they debuted a C-3PO backpack, so you could take a picture in the backpack, basically.
I saw that.
They had the little mouse droids going back and forth across the top of the booth,
so
and
cool.
it was really cool.
I imagine at this point, Funko literally produces every character in Star Wars.
Nearly. It's kind of insane how specific they've gotten at this point, but they have plenty more.
And then they have every character flocked. So there's two versions of every single character.
Right. And that doesn't count Target exclusives either.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, and Hasbro, Mattel, Loungefly,
so
Her Universe, which is Ashley Eckstein's company, and Box Lunch were maybe the biggest ones.
So let me ask you a question. But you said Mattel, and you picked up something
Yes.
For me, which is coincidentally for a friend who really wanted it.
It's very cool.
How big? So you picked up the Darth Vader ghost, Force Ghost Darth Vader Mattel plush.
I would say it's holographic plushie.
Holographic,
but
it's
the material of it, the fabric it's made of is super holographic
but
and
you
shiny.
said it was big, so can you?
Yeah,
because you can't find a photo of this thing anywhere online.
I've never even heard of it.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay, so I would say it's actually at least a good foot tall.
Dang.
Which when you sent me the picture, I was picturing it maybe just a bit bigger than a Funko Pop
or
a
5 or 6
a Beanie Baby type size. It's 3 of those.
Substantial.
So yeah, cool. It's actually a big toy.
And there's a light inside the box, correct?
Yeah, the box is really cool. It looks like the healing pod that he has, and it that comes apart. So, but it opens.
It's
up.
a Bacta tank, but it's got LED lights inside of it.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
So
That's awesome.
Really excellent box. All the displays were awesome, and everything was very high end. They had after the Kenobi premiere, they brought out special cars that were themed from that movie, skinned with decorations, and then they also had all the costumes in glass cases for you to check out.
These cars, was it
It was a 1982 Ford Pinto.
Like a Subaru Impreza. Like what was it? Were they cool cars?
Yeah, they were. I'm not like a car person. Wasn't paying enough attention to like what type of.
Was it Buick?
No, they were cool. I can like find a
Escalade.
picture probably. I don't know, but they were
Okay.
nice cars. It was cool, and they had them like on the cool like red carpet display that they brought out and everything.
My question is, were they actual scale versions-
cars? Yeah.
No, but versions of the Hot Wheels that they released at.
Oh.
Oh.
Like, that's a good idea.
Oh,
Because
I
they
don't know
did
what the
release,
Hot
like,
Wheels
special
were.
edition
So
Hot Wheels and stuff in conjunction with all of this stuff. So it
Okay.
makes sense that they did.
I'll have to look up what
life-size
the
vehicles.
I'll
of
have to
those.
look up what the Hot Wheels are because I just
Okay.
don't know what they look like. But that would make a lot of sense.
Cool.
They had this really cool thing there called Road Squadron that you should look up if you like cars. That was all like Star Wars themed cars that were like the coolest. Like they had one with like there was like BB-8 and like so the whole car is BB-8 and they had like a giant BB-8 head that was on
Like
the
a,
top.
like
of
a,
it.
ham-
Yeah,
like
it
a
was
hamster
awesome.
wheel.
Like a VW bug.
I don't again I don't know cars but yeah it was awesome, the really fun stuff. And then like they have like all of the Star Wars costume groups there kind of like showing up in force. So like the 501st is there, but they also host like a huge 501st party that we went to on the first night. It's called the 501st Bash, and it was funny.
Have to check your gear to let you into the party?
No, so this is really funny because like when you like buy the ticket, at first it makes it sound like you have to be in it to even go.
Yeah.
Because it says like what is your
Like
like
affiliation.
yes, it's like which is your group name and what is your TK number? Like it's that specific. So I was like, none. I'm sad that I can't answer this. And so because of that, I was fully expecting everyone at the parties in their armor. No, it's just everybody like chilling because they're
all wearing Ralph Lauren polo shirts.
well, they all had their cool like.
That is so
I'm sure if you've been to
disappointing.
like any Comic Con, you've seen the guys walk around in the jerseys that they
Yes,
have for
yeah.
five.
Yes,
They
yes.
was that, but they had like hundreds of different garrisons, so it was like so cool to just look at the shirts.
And what's so cool about that? So we were at Galaxy's Edge at the end of last year, and a couple friends and I, and we were sitting in the restaurant that's there that you can go in, and it looks like in part of like Black Spire Outpost.
Okay,
But,
yeah.
we were sitting in there and we were talking about the 501st, and one of the guys didn't know what it was. And while we were talking about it, someone walked over. This woman
love
walked
it,
over
yes.
and she said, she's like, "Excuse me, I'm sorry. I just wanted to give you my card." And she gave us
Yes.
this like trading card that she
Yeah,
has.
a lot of them
And
have really
she's-
cool stuff.
She's a Jawa. So they not only do they just
Yeah,
have,
so that's
like,
their Rebel
guards-
Allegiance.
Yeah, so not
yeah.
only do they have like stormtroopers, which is how it started, but then they have all of the guards. They have all these, and then it's just all these different sects of
didn't
Star
know
Wars.
Yeah,
that.
there's actually
It's
now
so
like
cool.
there's also like clone trooper legions that are separate from the stormtrooper ones. They have like the droid builders group, the Rebel Allegiance, which is if you're like the heroes basically instead
The
of
just
the villains.
Captain Rexes.
Yeah, my favorite.
I'm a fan of a Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
Anytime we like deep laugh, we should just like turn in silence.
What do you think about that?
I don't like this anymore.
Yeah, so it was really cool, like just zipping around on the floor and like checking out everything. They had like a life-size TIE fighter. They have like a live stage too that was down there that they were like slowly throughout the weekend like bringing all the people that were on the main stage over there. And so like I saw Pedro Pascal while I was there, and he was basically where Mackenzie's sitting, and I was like, hello.
I love you.
Wait,
Yes.
did you say that, Pedro?
I mean, yes, but I was just in a crowd of people all yelling hello. Like,
But I like to think that he heard you above the crowd.
yeah, well, I was
I
wearing
always
my
hear
like
you above the
I
crowd.
was
I'm
wearing my
just-
costume then at least, so
Okay.
What
I'm
was
noticeable.
he doing?
He just sat like this. It looked really cool, and then talked about Mando season
He would.
3.
Did he blow
yeah.
kisses at anybody?
No, but he was like everyone was just like going nuts like for him when he came out, and so the host was like, "This is what happens when you let the internet call you daddy."
Yeah. Yeah. It's true.
Weird.
It's true.
But it was
Patrick
really
learned that the
fun.
hard way a few years ago too.
Yeah. So yeah, really cool. Like just going around on the floor, like amazing costumes, a really cool like creative stuff as well. Like
Right.
really fun stuff. Like just my heaven basically. And so then like the other kind of side of this is all the panels that you can go to. I'm sorry. There's also lots of like exhibits you can check out that are like special for this. So like Rancho Obi-Wan is like a thing that's like very
Oh,
famous
yeah.
in California. It's the biggest like personal collection of Star Wars stuff. So that guy actually gave Kate and her friend Asia like a personal tour, but I got to buddy on because we didn't know that's exactly what was going on.
Right,
So
right.
I was just like listening behind them this whole thing.
That's
it was
so cool.
really, really cool. Like in the whole theme of it was like Mandalorian. So they had like all the Boba Fett stuff, all the Mando stuff, some like Bo-Katan and all that. Really cool. Excellent. So, and then they had like a droid room. They had this Mandalorian experience that everyone said was excellent, but the lines were like 3 or 4 hours long every day.
So way.
I did not end up getting to do that. There was like this whole thing with like fast passes and stuff that didn't work great for this whole convention, but for all the main panels you had to like enter a lottery ahead of time to get into any of them, and I only won one, which was the Mando panel, and I'm so glad it was that one.
That's like, yeah,
that was the one.
If you were gonna win one, it was gonna be either that or like Rebels, if Rebels had
so
one.
we'll get there.
All
All right, so
Stop spoiling.
there's like 2 main panels, I would say. So it was like,
let me ask you one
yeah,
question.
yeah.
What is Star Wars?
I'm still stuck on this first part right now. Okay.
What's a Mandalorian?
So obviously one of the big things with the filming of something like The Mandalorian is the set, the fact that it's like fully digital displays, 360 degrees.
Yeah, all the
walk on,
volume
all that kind of
stuff,
stuff. Did they do any type of like small scale recreation you could like walk into?
Oh, that would have been really cool. I've only seen some pictures from in there. I didn't hear anybody talk about that, so I'm gonna assume not. But that would be insane.
To be in the world of the Mandalorian, that would be wild.
They did do, from what I saw, they did have.
They had like a bantha. They had his actual like the new ship with Grogu in it, and apparently if you like called him, he would like turn and look at you and everything.
He would.
Yeah. So insane.
It's hard to distinguish because they did have something similar to that, but it wasn't at Celebration. They also, because of the timing of everything, they did Star Wars Nights at Disneyland, and they had these big sets that you could step into and take photos.
We saw them setting them up when we were there the day before, but we weren't able to get tickets for the night of. Now that I know that's a thing, I would love to do that next time, but I didn't really realize it was not or like that it's so much extra than just the regular Star Wars stuff, and not just like the parks open later or something, or they do a show, or I don't know. It's a lot cooler than I thought.
There's
it was.
like photos of like of Pedro Pascal and Dave Filoni
John
and
Favreau,
John
like
Favreau
everybody,
on a ride together, and it's like,
apparently we were in the parks at the same time as Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor, but unfortunately no sightings. I just had my eyes peeled.
I can promise you that the studio's insurance company hates that.
Oh yeah,
that they're like all on a ride that has a level of danger at the same
That's
time.
funny.
It's like when there's like a large threat and they separate the vice president and the president. This is like putting everybody who is making Star Wars money right now. Oh hey, have fun on the roller coaster.
Yeah.
60 feet off the ground. See ya.
Oh my gosh, yeah. If anything went wrong. Oh man. So speaking of all the most famous Star Wars people, the first panel that they had, this was the one I didn't get into the main room for it. They had screening rooms, and so like I got there pretty early on the first day, and I was still waiting to get in like lines, and it was actually really fun though, because like everybody in line, like swag trading is a big thing at Celebration because you can't sell anything that's not licensed. So like I traded with like 10 people all of a sudden, like right there. Cool. So that was like really fun. Coolest thing that I got traded, maybe I got some really excellent pins, but like this is like really silly. Someone gave me like 3D printed galactic credits.
Oh,
that was so cool. And she said,
cool.
"For your trouble," and I loved it.
Quite. I feel like that's what you would do in response.
I loved it.
I love
so
when that
cool.
level of nerdom is like totally accepted there.
Yes, that's why this was like so cool.
For your troubles, I'd be like, yes.
Yes. I thought it was like so awesome. So yeah, really, really cool. So first panel was the big like Lucasfilm one, and this did cover things that were not just Star Wars, but they like kicked it off. It's the big kind of like theme that they would have, I guess, is the 20th anniversary of Attack the Clones, which is like cool with all the Obi-Wan stuff and everything. So they started off this panel with like all red lights, and like a fog machine starts, and this choir walks out in black robes, and they all sing Duel of the Fates.
Oh, wow.
Like as an opera, basically.
Yeah.
Like chills. Like it was insane.
It's like the Macarena. Yeah.
Okay, so in Phantom Menace,
Lauren's about to walk you scene by scene through. Yeah.
It's like, hold my hand.
I'll sing it. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, that was like just the kickoff, and then they have Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen come out. The crowd goes wild. It was awesome. Like they had kind of like a really heartfelt speech, and it was really cool because like people went like totally nuts when Hayden Christensen came out, and he's like kind of suffered the bad side of Star Wars fandom for a long time.
The toxic side.
Yeah,
for sure.
and Ewan even said stuff like, you know, when the prequels came out, we didn't really like feel the love like we're feeling now, and so like this is such a cool experience that like we feel welcome and we feel appreciated, and like they were really happy to be there and everything, and like genuinely seemed like excited to talk about the show and stuff. And so because that was like the night that the show was coming out, and they just announced like, cool guys, we're all gonna go to the premiere now. So if you were in that room, like I said before, you got to go to like stay in there with them later that night. And then I got my like pass to go back to the screening room for later. Super awesome. Yeah.
And that was a screening for Kenobi.
Yeah, the first 2 episodes of Kenobi, which was an hour earlier than 2 hours earlier, because originally we were hearing that it was going to drop online earlier than it did. But yeah, so basically as soon as we finished watching it, y'all were able to watch it online because it dropped like at like 9 o'clock instead of midnight.
9,
Yeah, so it was excellent. It was so much fun to like watch with everybody, and it was like I was saying before, like the reactions were so funny because it was like even if you didn't know it was a reference, you would figure out it was something important really quickly by the reaction.
I don't know what I missed, but I bet it was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, like I didn't get every single one, but like there's stuff too where it was like, am I allowed to say like spoilers for the first couple episodes now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't care. I've seen them.
Hey,
yeah.
If you're listening, you don't want spoilers, skip ahead.
Yeah. So like when they show the like clone trooper on the ground, everyone's like, oh my god, it's 501st. He has the blue armor. Oh my god, is it Rex?
Yeah.
Is it Rex? Is it Rex? Like everyone is just like chattering over, and you're like hearing all the clone names. I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah. Did he say his name? Because I was wondering too.
No, so it's definitely not Rex just based on the like armor, and like there's no way that he wouldn't have said something. But I also find it impossible to believe that they didn't recognize each other. Like because
if it would have been Rex.
No, because like the 501st was like Anakin and Obi-Wan's like battalion, so like they would like that guy should know who Obi-Wan is. So it's just fun, I think, to be like to have that moment where he either decided not to say or like is his chip broken or like
because this is an area where people go to not know like it's an area where
he would, even if like you have to assume his inhibitor chip is broken or something, but then it's also like why like he wouldn't want to out them.
That's what I'm saying. Like of all things, like it might be
he would know the Jedi
there might be a
are in
nod
trouble,
a nod where it's like hello stranger, but like if you're both in this place, it's because you're both in trouble and you don't want to be found.
Yes. Yeah. And so just that was like a great experience getting to watch the first couple episodes like with everybody and like get all these reactions and stuff, and and so that was kind of like at the end of the night though, like this is only the first thing they talked about on that panel. They had, like I said, them Hayden and Ewan come out, and then they had
this was all first night.
This is the first few hours. I've barely gotten.
She has 7 pages of notes.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like already, trip to California worth it.
Oh my god, yeah. And so then they also brought out
Wait, pause 1 second.
Yeah.
Remember earlier I was talking about, or maybe it was last night, I was talking about Lauren likely has 4 pages worth of notes. She literally has 4 pages of notes. Literally 4.
I cleaned it up. It was 5 before.
I just got really happy that I was right in my.
You really know the masters.
I'm just saying.
Well, yeah. Okay.
I'm a master of the masters for sure. Yeah.
They bring out the rest of the cast and everything. They talk a little bit more, and then they go on to Andor, which is like one of the things that you can now see the trailer. So I don't feel like I need to.
I haven't seen it yet.
No, me neither.
Maybe we should watch it.
Yeah, because like I saw this trailer like I think 25 times during Celebration because they were like, this is the only thing we could play to like kill time on any of the live stages or spare TVs. So like there's this really loud like bell clanging in the very beginning of the trailer, and I just kept hearing that, and I'm like, Andor.
So it was a slideshow between that trailer and then a slide that says you're not allowed to use your phone for anything while you're here, right? Like keep your phone in your pocket.
So
turned
that
on.
trailer they didn't say as much about because like they dropped it online at the same time. It was our maybe.
No, I just mean
our
those
trust
are the.
fall.
I'm saying those are the 2 slides that were on repeat the whole weekend.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're not allowed to take video of anything that's happening here. Also, here's Andor.
You could actually like film everything except the trailers. They were pretty cool about that stuff. Like take pictures when like all the people were talking and all that. Just like as soon as those trailers came out, the security guards were everywhere.
So that's how it was at Comic-Con. I mean, they were like,
yeah,
it's serious business.
But that was the only thing they were there for is like just watching for phones. So I get it. Yeah, so the Andor trailer, very cool. It kind of got me more excited for the show than I had been previously. So Andor's like a continuation of Rogue One, starring Diego Luna, who was in that, and he was really funny. He's like, well, I won't die in this one. And they did tell us it'll be 24 episodes total, 2 seasons that are going to be 12 episodes, which is kind of like crazy for TV these days. Yeah. But it starts 5 years prior to Rogue One and will literally lead up straight into the like opening moments of Rogue One. Was kind of like the tease that they gave us.
So it's a prequel to that story. It doesn't take place during that story.
No, prequel 100%. So I think like the sort of like tidbits that were shown a lot was like this like village where the Empire is like coming in on their ships and they're like hiding things, but they're like warning each other, you know, like there's some kind of system in place to like, you know, do shit when the Empire comes, like hide whatever you need to, and then you know, get on with it when they're gone. And that seems like very like kind of what we know about the Empire in this stage. Like they're still kind of like getting their footing. Like they have a lot of power, and they have a lot of like people, but they don't necessarily have like full control. So like the rebellion,
it's more of a militia, not like a government.
Somewhere in between, yeah, because like they have the Galactic Senate, but they just don't know it.
But
I mean,
they're not operating as a government; they're acting as a militia.
Yes, especially the rebels are. So like, what this is really going to be about is the like the start of the rebellion and like the thing of that. And like they showed a lot with they brought the actress back who played Mon Mothma. And she's going to be like a big character in it. They showed like a lot with her in the trailer, like a lot of stuff like in the Senate, all the politics and stuff, which like at that time. This is so nerdy. So like at that time, Emperor Palpatine was still like head of the Galactic Senate, but no one knew he was like Palpatine then, except maybe like Anakin. So like it's like crazy interesting. So like you have Mon Mothma, who's like a senator. Bail Organa would be a senator. Leia. Like there's a lot of like interesting characters kind of in the, you know, Leia. There's some interesting characters like in the mix at this time, and I think that's kind of like what's the most fun to like speculate about with Andor is like,
especially with Obi-Wan having more of those characters in it as well.
Yes. This is a quick mention from the 3rd episode, but that like Quailen Voss drop is huge to me. Like things like that where it's like, okay, yeah, more like I think a lot of like Jedis that are escaping from Order 66 would make a lot of sense to be in this show. I think anyone from Rebels is fair game, and I think like Ezra's parents and things like that are like especially likely characters to be in it.
Sure. You know Ezra.
Yes.
I've met him.
Yeah.
Best friend.
Super cool. Like I think it'll be
wait, to be clear, Patrick's nephew is named after Ezra.
I know,
Ezra.
yes.
After Ezra.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even,
You know
actually,
that it's after a Star Wars character, right?
Given his father, I assumed.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to. It's a sneaky one though. It's not like Obi-Wan. But yeah, so like even like the Bad Batch is like heading in that direction. So I think like seeing how much they emphasize the crossoverness of like what Star Wars TV will be and other things as well. Like I just think like this will be like a smorgasbord of cameos, of like really fun cameos from like. Because they're starting to move more and more away from the like original trilogy timeline, because like all the Mando stuff takes place like in between original trilogy, in between old trilogy or like original trilogy and new trilogy. So like that's kind of its own timeline. It won't really affect much of this. You might see some characters, but like I think it will be really fun because like this is all the people that we knew were setting things up in like episode 4. That's who's going to be a big part of this show and like knows about this and like all that. So I think that will be really fun. I think lots of smuggler characters, bounty hunters, stuff like that. Like really excited for that. Like a non-Jedi show is honestly like pretty exciting to me at this point.
That's Rogue One was like one of my favorite movies for that reason. It was like the heroes that didn't get names. It was like these are the people that were doing all this stuff.
The many Bonthan spies.
But didn't get to levitate things, right? They were just there doing like hard work, and to see like where they came from, I think it's gonna be super cool, and how they interact with the Empire is gonna be super fun.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be really cool, and I think it's like interesting time period because like the Empire doesn't really like have full control yet, so like the rebellion technically stands a chance, like like they think so anyway. But we know, just like Rogue One.
Yeah,
all right.
we do.
Yeah, so
We all collectively know exactly what we're all talking about.
Yeah, but you can go watch the Andor trailer now if you want to go check that out. I think they said it's coming out in the fall, September maybe. I don't remember. Okay, yeah, thank you.
Very soon.
Yeah,
Like,
really soon.
Really soon.
Yeah,
Almost like right
Disney
on the
Plus
heels
is really
of,
crushing it.
of
Like
Obi-Wan.
yeah.
Like, almost right on the heels of it, which is
I
crazy.
think they'll finish like Miss Marvel and
Star
then
Wars is catching up to the Marvel, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pacing.
yeah. Which I'll start talking about this now. But like Jon Favreau came out for the Mando stuff next, and they had Dave Filoni, like they had Pedro Pascal, or actually no, at this part they did not have him. They had Katie Sackhoff comes out, who plays Bo-Katan, which I think is very interesting. Note for later when I talk about the Mando panel that she was the one to come out and talk about it. I love her though. So like that was really cool. And like this one was like kind of like very quick, like hits of like all the things. So like they talked a little bit about it, but really they showed us a trailer.
Yeah.
And this is one of the things that has not been released online, and I'm going to do my best to kind of describe what I remember. Okay, so like it opens up and you have sort of like a replay of that scene where Mando was talking to the armorer, and I honestly don't remember if this was the very end of Mando or the beginning of Book of Boba Fett stuff with Mando. But when he's talking to the armorer and she's like, "Oh, you took off your helmet, you suck. You can't be a real Mandalorian anymore. You have to go back to Mandalore and redeem yourself in the living waters."
That was the end of season 2.
Okay, that's what I thought. They showed kind of like a remix version where it like implied that Grogu was there, and it's hard to tell if that was just like the editing or if they're just trying to like summarize this. But like, so basically, season 3 is like Mando going to Mandalore,
Yes.
which is what I thought.
We
anyway.
knew
yeah,
that.
I don't
we-
think
we
that was a
already-
big surprise.
Yeah, we already speculated.
So yeah, she kind of like tells him he sucks, and then they show like Razor Crest flying into space. They show like a bunch of shots with like Grogu and like Mando in some like caves and stuff, and then they show like a lot of stuff with Bo-Katan, which I was very excited about. They show Grief Karga. I was like, I'm getting there.
He's so excited. It's not quick enough for you to tell him.
I've
Yeah,
already-
sorry. Well, don't read it all.
I've already read it all.
Yeah, so like they showed a lot with like Bo-Katan like with Grogu alone, which I thought was interesting. And then there's like this shot of Grief
But she
Karga.
can't be trusted? What do you mean?
Well, just Mando usually like has him with him, so it's
Oh, I
just
see.
interesting
I
that
see.
he wasn't with them
Okay,
for what
okay.
for some
So
reason.
you can speculate as to why that might be.
Yeah, like
Okay.
just unusual that they would be apart. And so they show Grief Karga, who's Carl Weathers' character, back in Mos Pelga. It looks like that city's been like cleaned up like crazy. He's wearing this really dope outfit, and he like comes out, looks really cool, and he like goes to talk to some like pirate-looking guys, which in my opinion look a lot like Hondo species of pirates, like that alien race or whatever. They look like that.
Is he dressed Calrissian-esque?
Oh yes, I would say so. But
Okay.
but even grander because he has this like long cape that's
Like if Lando Calrissian went to a ball.
yeah, or like maybe needed like that's maybe a good like more fancy because it's like all the way down to the ground, like red cape, and it had like armholes that came out, so like full like around his body goes down to the ground, but then it had like cool patterns on it and stuff. He looks like he's moved up in the world.
Yeah.
Good for our man. And he said that he would be directing an episode in season 3, so that's also cool. Carl Weathers did. He was like giving Dave Filoni a heart attack at the Mando panel, saying that he was going to spoil things. It was very funny to watch. But yeah, so that was really cool. We see like a shot of Kowakian monkey lizards all in a tree together, which is the species that Salacious Crumb is. The little guy from Jabba's palace.
Yeah.
Got a big laugh every time that this trailer
we
was
see
shown.
a flock of them.
A whole tree full of them.
Wow. Okay.
We see Dr. Pershing, who is the like cloning doctor from season 1 that like had helped Werner Herzog kidnap Grogu or whatever. And I think that they might have like converted him to their side based on the footage because he looks like he's like sneaking around while he's in some Empire type situations, and he has like a more like an outfit that doesn't look like his other outfit. Like he looked like he had this cool coat and like funky glasses, and so
This is the guy who had like those test tubes of Snokian type creatures in the.
yeah, like cloning doctor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
and then so just interesting to think that he's sticking around, maybe a double agent or something is kind of my theory, but that's just a guess. And then they show again, like I said, Bo-Katan, lots of shots with her, and they did show her like in the throne room of Mandalore, which we know from Clone Wars and the cartoons and stuff. And like it's interesting because it didn't look like destroyed enough based on what we know has happened to Mandalore and stuff. So maybe she's rebuilding, like quite literally rebuilding Mandalore the way that she remembers it, because like Bo is such an interesting character in this situation because like she's literally like a princess of Mandalore. Like she should be the one that would be like queen or whatever if they had a government or like existed anymore, hadn't been like genocided. So like her with Mando, who like has the Darksaber, like another big like piece of like power and like Mandalorian stuff, like this is super interesting to me. So like all of this is cool. And then like the very last shot of the trailer is, like I said, like Bo is alone with Grogu. She like shoots the top of this cave. Some guy like falls down and like Grogu makes a noise. So she like looks at him and goes like, "Oh, you did you think your dad was the only Mandalorian?" And then the trailer ends.
Okay.
I just thought it was really cute that she called him his dad.
Yeah.
I like that.
I did see we obviously knew that he had been reunited with Grogu
Yes.
because of Book of Boba Fett, but seeing the official poster or the official like slate graphic for it, where you see tiny Grogu as like part of the A, like the silhouette of him. Patrick is now looking it up to see what we're talking about.
Yeah,
it was. I was excited, even though I knew it was like, okay, they're back together. Like we knew that wasn't going to last very long, but it was good.
From like what you saw, do you feel like the vibe is gonna be way different than feels similar to what we've seen in like Mandalorian 2?
I'd say that there's a second half of this that I'll get to in a minute, because like this is actually only half of the trailer that I got to see, because they showed us a longer cut, like a whole basically second half of this trailer at the Mando panel, and that kind of gave me.
Wait, that wasn't even the Mando panel? Where did you see this?
This is still in the Lucasfilm panel.
Oh my
This is
word!
like there's so much
We're
stuff.
on panel 1.
I'm sorry.
Is it still day
Page
one?
1, paragraph 1.
I'm
panel
sorry.
1.
It goes quicker after this.
Okay.
I promise.
I'm gonna have to open another Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar.
So I'll kind of like save the like second half for like that panel, I think. But like that's like where we left off there. Very cool. That second half did give me some different impressions.
Just like from what you've explained, and obviously we're getting words off of something you saw.
Yeah.
It feels totally different to me.
It feels more
Like a singular story as opposed to pockets of like
sure.
spaghetti westerny
And
stories.
I'm gonna
more character development, more character interaction, rather than like single episodes you could watch almost by themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like a lot of the cartoons, and most of Mando does this as well, or the show so far, they have like two to 4 episode arcs, I would say, and then they kind of like move on to things. But Mando has been like even more like episode 1,
Right.
like
Very-
one episode,
very episodic.
like baddie of the week or whatever,
Yeah.
you know. But I think that this does maybe seem like more connected. I mean, I'm maybe putting together like a lot of pieces of things. Like I'm sure there will be at least one like Frog Lady type episode that doesn't like quite make sense with everything else or whatever. But like,
but it will cause the entire internet to go crazy.
I was like, but I love Frog Lady, and that was supposed to be like their tie-in for that like like what was that show, like the Rogue Squadron show or whatever, like with the X-wing pilots there. That was like the whole point of that episode. So that got like canceled because of the whole stuff with Gina Carano.
Oh, I didn't know
I
that.
feel like I'm with Patrick right now. Like that last sentence lost to me.
the
I was like-
Frog Lady episode?
I know the Frog Lady.
You don't know the controversy about that episode?
No.
Janine Garofalo.
So,
No,
that
please don't
episode-
conflate that, because she's a nice person.
In the episode, Grogu eats a
Yeah.
lot of those eggs,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And there was this big uproar about
'Cause they're
Star Wars.
people.
Yeah, Star Wars
Oh,
promoting
separate, yeah.
genocide of that species. And so Star Wars had to come out officially and say, don't worry, Grogu did not like single-handedly eradicate this species. And at the same time, also remind people this is a fictional, these are fictional things. But yeah, so that it was a big
That scene
controversy.
was hilarious.
Is a big controversy.
And then they were supposed to put him in another show that got canceled.
No, this is a separate thing. So, like,
Okay.
at the end of that episode, they're like rescued by 2 X-wing
X-wing
pilots
fighters.
that
Right,
are
right.
like the
The
space
jokes,
police or whatever. Yeah. So, like, that was supposed to be a spin-off show, kind of starring
Okay.
Cara Dune, that got canned after Gina Carano was
Sure.
a jerk.
like a buddy
Like-
cop, like a buddy cop.
Like chips.
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean, I'm not
Chips
opposed
in
to that idea if you take her
space!
out. That could be cool. But yeah, so that's kind of like where we left on the Mando stuff. They then brought out like John. Oh my God. Yeah,
Watts?
John Favreau. Yeah, brought out John Watts. That's why I was like, took me a second to say this correctly. Who he knows from Spider-Man. And they kind of like basically said that like while they were making Spider-Man, they pitched him a Star Wars story, and he's like, love it, let's do it. And so now they're going to be making a Star Wars show. And this was like one where they didn't
wonder if
announce
it's
much.
like the equivalent of working on it together, and at the end of the day being like, by the way, here's my demo CD or my demo tape.
Yeah.
Could you just take a listen to this?
Just hey, I got an idea. I'm just gonna float it by. If you like it, pick it up. If you don't, just leave it right there.
It definitely like that seemed to be like the vibe of the way that they told the story. Like they're just like, just tell us if you don't like it, we'll
He
never
did
bring
a
it up again.
professional
You know?
courtesy by listening to him tell us.
right.
Could
yeah.
you
Yeah.
read my script?
Everyone gets one. Yeah.
But I guess they liked the idea, so they're going to be making this show called Skeleton Crew, which will be set in the Mando timeline. And my immediate impression of it was, so this is Goonies in Star Wars. It is like 4 kids that are like lost in space. They didn't really say like how they become lost or whatever, but they're like trying to get home. And like they said it will be starring kids, but not necessarily for kids. So it's not necessarily. It could be violent or scary.
That is up your alley.
Excuse me.
But I mean, it's like Stranger Things level of scary. You know what I mean? Or like,
that's probably what
yeah,
it is,
yeah. So I think that sounds cool though. Like,
It sounds so fun.
And then the other little like. They showed us like one piece of concept art, which I'm sure if you Google this, you can see it, but it just kind of didn't look like much. But the big news was that they announced Jude Law would be in their show. It's only casting, no news of who he is or anything. A lot of like stuff I saw online is speculating that he would be Thrawn, and I think that would be terrible because like you cannot have Thrawn come in some dumb show about kids. I'm sorry.
It might not be a dumb show. It might be the start of something new.
I'm just like, you need to save Thrawn for like the Ahsoka, Boba Fett, Mando team up show moment
but
thing.
Hang on, he might be in that as like he might. Like,
I just don't want that to be the
he
intro.
He might be introduced in
I
that
would
show,
not like that.
and then he comes into the Skeleton Crew. Is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, yeah, that would be better
Because that comes after. That's gonna have to come out way after Ahsoka.
Yeah,
and
I
all those other
just
things.
really wouldn't like it if that's like how we met Thrawn. I think that would be terrible. So like he needs to either like. It just needs to be a big moment. I think that's like the Thanos of Star Wars world. Like he's like the like if you don't want to meet Darth Vader, you really don't want to meet Thrawn either. Like they're really bad.
He's blue.
I could tell how much you cared about that because your voice went up an entire octave.
Me?
You just were like, he might not be that.
Yeah.
Like that was, yeah, it was important. It was.
I'm
important
excited
to
for
you.
Thrawn. I don't even know a ton about Thrawn, but he is like that. People have been waiting for him forever.
Yeah.
Just like people have been like when people saw that Ahsoka was in Mando.
Yeah.
Like and people lost their minds. Or Cad Bane in Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It's one of those like we know it's gonna come at some point, and when it happens, the world is
It's
gonna.
excellent
explode.
to save though and like tease this as long as they can because like all we've really gotten officially like in this world is like in the Mando
There's
season
kids.
2. Well, in Mando season 2 where they like Ahsoka asked like where's Thrawn?
Where's Thrawn?
So
yeah.
we know
Yeah.
that this is like a thing that's coming.
It's part of her story arc for sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, for sure. I can confirm. But yeah, I think Jude Law would be a great casting choice. But like I said, I don't think that they would announce that that's who's playing Thrawn like through the Skeleton Crew show. Like that just doesn't seem right to me. So like I think if he was playing him, they would have announced it differently.
But I think like it would be really smart if he was playing him because they haven't announced that he's a part of Ahsoka or any of these other shows where we know Thrawn is attached. So if they announce that Jude Law is in there to bait everyone like, oh, Jude Law is fantastic. We love Jude Law. That's fantastic. And then sometime earlier on in another show, all of a sudden, like, you know, Thrawn, like, hello, Thrawn. And then it cuts to behind Thrawn and then it pans around and you see it's Jude Law playing Thrawn.
Yeah.
That would be like, holy shit, this is fantastic.
Yeah. We'll see though.
Bait people into the Skeleton Crew.
I just have to say because of the way this was announced, I really doubt that that's who would be playing Thrawn. It just
Well,
like
I hope
seems,
you're wrong.
That's just the theory. That's my thoughts.
I love Jude Law. So
I'm very excited he's included at
No,
all.
I actually think like he would be good casting and everything, but like this would be this is a very weird way to announce it if that's the case. That's all. So that's all that they really said. They did not have a lot to say or show us on that one. And then they kind of like ran through a few more things. So Willow was the next one. This is where it starts going like pure Lucasfilm.
Man.
They had Warwick Davis there though. He was really charming, really excellent, really fun. And they played us a
he's
trailer.
bigger in person, I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're being serious.
No, I'm not being serious at all. No.
But he was really effusive about the show. It seems like I'm pretty excited because like initially it's like I don't care that they're making a sequel to Willow. Like cool movie, I like it, but like I would never have like picked that to be made
I'm
a
very
sequel.
excited.
Yeah, like
Is it a movie
I
or is it a
love Willow.
series?
It's a series,
Okay.
and like the trailer. I think you can watch this online now too. But it's
Yeah.
basically like Willow like comes back and like his daughter's involved, and it's Warwick Davis's actual daughter, which I think is very
that's
cool.
fun. Told
you.
Yeah, and so like it seems like he was really excited. So I'm feeling like they're like contact high for this show. Like I'm definitely like going to be watching it when it comes out, and it looks like way better than it should
and
be.
Val Kilmer is back.
I don't know. Probably not. Is he?
I'm pretty sure he's back.
Oh, I
I'm
love
pretty
that.
sure I saw-
That's
yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
At least his character is back.
I love
Whether
that.
it's him playing that, but it would seem to make sense for him to do
They
that.
seem to have gotten like everyone else, so I would be surprised. And maybe he just doesn't have the biggest part or something, but like very cool, very
Do
cool.
you want a Val Kilmer fact?
Yeah.
I mean, no, it's kind of sideways, but this is all I can contribute to this conversation is something non-Star Wars related.
I got one more non-Star Wars thing for you next.
Val Kilmer. Okay.
You worried about spoilers for another movie?
You just like stopped dead.
I knew exactly where you were going, and I'm like, Patrick can't say that. I mean, unless he doesn't care about giving away things.
Should I just keep going?
If y'all could just clap real quick, just both of you above my mic. Okay. That's good enough. So I will continue to contribute nothing. Go ahead.
You might know a little bit about this next one. So the last but not least, they had John Williams come out. It had just been his 90th birthday. So he came out and conducted an entire orchestra that they pulled out of nowhere to play the brand new Obi-Wan Kenobi like theme that he wrote for the show. And this is the first time it had ever been played in front of an audience. So that was like super, super cool. And then he played...
Was it any good?
Oh, it was excellent. Yeah.
I just wonder if
Very
he phones
moving.
it in sometimes.
It's the Stranger Things theme song. Boom.
Up an octave. Nah, that's good enough.
Yeah. And so then he played like Vader's theme, and then they played the Indiana Jones theme, and then all of a sudden, with no announcement whatsoever, Harrison Ford walks out.
What?
Literally, they didn't say anything. He just all of a sudden he's there, and everyone is going insane because like Harrison Ford famously is not like a big fan of
No, he
like
does not like cons.
playing Han Solo or like the Star Wars. Like he doesn't like the insanity of the fandom. So we're like the joke that like everyone was telling all weekend was like, so yeah, he showed up to Star Wars Celebration to talk about Indiana Jones.
Yeah, that was his middle finger to everybody.
Yeah. Apparently they were supposed to have a trailer, but they did not play one. I guess it wasn't ready or whatever. So he just kind of came out and talked about him and John Williams' relationship. It was really touching. You could tell both of them almost were crying.
Did he talk about what it was like to work with Shia LaBeouf in the last Indiana Jones installment?
No, but he did talk about his colonoscopy.
Oh. I've heard they're the same. I've heard they're the exact same.
You would think they'd call it a colonoscopy poop. Go ahead.
I'm actually like not.
And you said you're not contributing.
This is gold.
I'm actually not kidding. Harrison Ford did make a joke about his colonoscopy,
Oh
so
my gosh.
it was hilarious. But yeah, that was like really cool. Like that was like just the briefest moment of Harrison Ford, and then the audience quickly sang John Williams' "Happy Birthday," and then he went off stage, and then Star Wars Celebration kind of commenced after that.
And how
really.
old is he? Because I saw a video of
I think 90.
two
Wait, hold on.
kids going to his house, and they had a music stand set up, and they played on a trumpet, I believe.
Yeah, it was like trumpet and trombone or something.
Yeah, the Star Wars theme song, and
That's amazing.
He came out and told them how great of a job that they did, and he thanked them for being fans.
And it looked
all
like
this
two
stuff.
high school kids.
Yeah, they were like young. They were young, either high school or early college. Like they were young kids. It was really cool to see that he's like a rad dude. Also, that he lives in a neighborhood that's at least accessible enough that you can just walk up and stand outside his house.
To be honest, if I remember right, it kind of looked like David Wallace's house from.
It did look like David Wallace's house. Yeah.
Everyone said such nice things about him, and like he seemed like I was shocked that he came because like he's 90 years old. He doesn't need to be at Star Wars Celebration. He should just rest.
Well, it was like Dick Van Dyke showing up at D23 last year, right?
Yeah. Like totally unexpected. So that was like a really great way to kind of close that like big opening panel and like all this exciting news, and then like kick everything off. So like that was the first one.
Twitter was obviously covering all of this, right? Like people were just talking about all the time. And when John Williams came up in like my Twitter feed, I was just like, it's almost emotional. Like,
oh
this
yeah,
could be,
I
like,
almost
one of the
cried.
last times he does something like this grand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so to actually like
oh.
even like I know I was watching like in a screening room or whatever, still insane. Like I was very emotional watching it.
Yeah.
I cried a few times throughout the weekend.
That's
cool.
unsurprising.
Yeah.
She has one whole set of page of notes on just her cries.
Yeah.
Wow.
I hate that you're reading my notes.
You know I'm not reading them, right?
Except you're staring right at them.
I'm just staring.
Oh,
I'm not
okay,
reading.
okay.
I don't want to spoil myself.
Yeah, okay. So I've got like two more that I'll kind of talk about, and then maybe like just a couple other like highlight things that came out, like just news drops throughout the weekend.
Sure.
So the Mando Plus panel was the one that like I did win the lottery for. I got up insanely early because I was actually like so excited I couldn't sleep either. And that was like the first day I wore my like chopper costume that I've been working on because like basically they just said like Mando Plus a chat with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, and like Dave Filoni's going to be in the room. I'm wearing my Rebels costume.
Yeah.
So that was like awesome because like as I walk in, there's just like all these people also dressed like Rebels, and we all just like became friends really quickly because
Is
we're,
that
like,
when you took that photo with everybody?
yeah.
That was
No.
so
No.
cool.
That's actually like totally separate. Like I took some photos with just like literally like right next to me, like there was like a group dressed as Kanan, Hera, and Ezra, and then behind me was a Sabine.
Okay.
So it was just like awesome. We had everybody
That
but
worked
Zeb.
out well. Yeah. But Zeb showed up later, though.
Yes, the one, which was awesome. So like I said, I won the lottery for this. Showed up really early so that I could get a good seat because I made like a friend and she was telling me like that's how she got like excellent seats for the Kenobi one, and like apparently word had traveled. So like I was already on the balcony by the time that I got there, and I was there early, so it was like crazy to me. But I thought I had a great view. I could see everything, like the whole stage. No one was like too tall in front of me and everything.
Stage was in the center, right?
Yeah, but this is like an amphitheater, like the biggest stage I've seen like in a convention center, like insane. Like they had like the whole pit area, another level behind that, and then like a row of like huge row, like balcony row.
Wow.
Like totally huge. Like I didn't understand until I was actually in the room how big it was, and it's just like massive, and there's so many people in there. So like really fun to just be in that room, honestly. Like the music they're playing ahead of time was like all Star Wars stuff. They played like the Weird Al like cover song, you know, that's about Phantom Menace and everything.
Sure.
Everybody was singing along, which was super fun. Just like love kind of that stuff. So then like they start the panel, and like it's like I was like all I was hoping for was to hear a little bit about Ahsoka, but like they like treated us. So like first it was like all the Mando stuff. They bring out you know, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, Pedro Pascal. That's when he was there, and then like his stunt doubles also. And they talked for like a long time about like how important they feel like they all work together, like how the three of them really make the role and it's not like one of them. And like it was cool that they like highlighted them, I think, because like you never see any of their faces that much, and like definitely not the other two guys. So like it was I think like very cool to like have them on this panel and like put them in front of everybody. And then they brought out like in order they brought out like I'm gonna just tell them the characters' names because I only know about half of their actor names. So like Moff Gideon, the Armorer, Grief Karga, Boba Fett, like Tamura Morrison. He actually did like they're playing the Boba Fett theme song when he comes out, and he did the like the Haka dance to that song.
I saw a video of that. Yeah.
Cool, so cool. Like and he had like completely lost his breath when he sat down. Like he's like, I'm sorry. It was hilarious. So like that was super cool. They brought out Bo-Katan, and then she gave like the best speech out of anybody. It was that one made me cry. And then they had all the like Ahsoka people they brought out. So like first they bring out Rosario Dawson. This is her first time at Star Wars Celebration. They kept saying at the Thursday panel like, oh, we're sorry we can't come, but they're filming down the street, you know, so that the reason they're not here is they're so busy. I'm like, well, it is Saturday. And so like yeah, she was there, and then like they introduce her, everybody goes nuts, and then like they're like, and you brought a friend, right? And she's like, oh yeah, and like goes to the side of the stage and brings out the live action Chopper.
Yeah. And then you lost your shit.
Absolutely, but
And
everybody
she cried again.
Yeah, almost. And then like everyone around me is like, ah, like because I was like dressed like it, so it was so
I thought
funny.
you meant like they were strangling you.
No,
they were
no,
so
like
mad at you. For not,
no, it was like all like fun. Like they're like, it's your guy. So like it was just like the best energy ever. Like that was so cool. And then like they showed us a trailer. Then this is
wait, hang on. Before that happened.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I haven't even gotten to. I forgot to like mention the other half of the Mando one that they showed when they were talking about that stuff too.
Well, and they brought another guest too. You on the panel? You didn't say.
Yeah, I haven't gotten there yet. I'm going down the line.
Okay,
so they brought out Chopper. They showed us the trailer, and then like at the end of the trailer, they introduce us to the actress who will be playing Sabine, and her name is, God damn it.
Wow.
Can you believe it?
Sorry,
This
no,
is
it
It's
is.
unfortunate. It's an unfortunate name.
No, I'm sorry. Natasha Lou Bordizio, which I'll learn how to pronounce by the time the show comes out.
Yes.
But like that was like really cool. So like basically they like revealed her live action like actually like saw her like fully in the trailer, and then they brought out the actress, and then they brought out little Grogu for everyone to
the one I
see,
was
and he
thinking
was
about. Adorable.
so
And they had like
cute.
a live puppeter.
Yeah,
and he
I
sat
don't know.
down on the panel. And
yeah,
did all
and he
the-
was like waving and stuff. It was like
Have
really
you seen video of it?
No.
It's really
it was
freaking
crazy.
I didn't see
cute.
the
Like
video.
it's dang cute.
And
That's-
like it was funny because initially they were like, just the three Mandos come over and take a picture, and then like, but everybody got up. They're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
no, I want to be near Grogu. It was adorable.
it was really cool. Yeah, the way that they did that.
Yeah, that panel was like exceptional. Like I'm so glad that I got to be there for that one. So the two trailers that they showed, like I said, we got an extended cut of Mando. So we saw like the exact same one we saw before, and then there's like it ends with like, you thought your dad was the only Mandalorian, and then just like keeps going, which all of us were like shocked because they did not even say that it was going to be longer. They're just like, we'll show you the trailer in case you missed it on Thursday.
Yeah.
It was nuts. So like, they showed like a lot of different things. And so like, I don't remember the order necessarily of all this stuff, but like one of the things is they showed like lots of Mandalorians, like in different color armor and stuff. And they showed this whole group of people in the blue armor, like Bo wears. I had a long talk with my brother yesterday. We're like, is that still Death Watch or is it Night Owls or what? And I don't know. And now I'm like, this could also be a flashback scene because there were so many Mandos in it. So that's like interesting to think about. But like, they're all like dropping out of an air carrier and taking off on their jetpacks.
That's
so
so
like,
cool.
just like one after another,
Like the
boom,
Air
boom.
Force.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
And it was
sweet.
so cool. And then like they're showing all these like dogfights with starship, like spaceships and stuff. And then you see a whole room of those like Babu Frick aliens like working on a spaceship.
Yeah. I heard that Babu Frick is going to be making a...
There was like 5 of them. I don't
Yeah.
That's awesome.
There's Babu
You know who that
Fricks.
is, right?
Yeah.
Babu Frick.
He's the one that plays the shrimp in the Muppets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you got it.
They're
You got
cousins. We saw like a real Star Destroyer, which like hasn't really been in the Mando timeline. Like it was hard to tell if it was like operational or not, but still interesting to like see that how much the Empire's coming back. I mean, we know the First Order will be there before too long, so like that's all happening in the background. And then you like one of the last shots that they show is like the completely decimated city of capital city like on Mandalore.
Yeah.
And it's very obviously that because they live in these like giant domes and you see like the decrepit ruins of the domes, and so like that got such a big reaction and it was very, very, very cool. So like because of that,
This sounds totally different now. Like epic.
yeah, so like the vibe definitely feels I don't want to say like historical, but like a war movie or something like. But
It's
if
way
you're
more
gonna,
serious.
if you're gonna get into like all the stuff that like happened on Mandalore, it's very dark and very serious.
Yeah.
Like it,
Yeah.
it's great. There's like civil war. There's lots of like backstabbing. There's lots of stuff, and then there's also like things we don't know. Where it's like, why does like the armor sect like so separate from everybody else? Like, were they Death Watch? Where are they like even a splinter of that? And like all these other things that are like fun to think about, like history of Mandalore stuff. Like I was saying with like. Knowing that Bo-Katan will be a big character is like super interesting because like she lived through so much of the like wars that this like planet went through. She was there like before and after, and like wants really to like get her people to like a better place. And so like I think this is like super interesting to like put her back on Mandalore. And then like
the reason she survived all that, Patrick, she's a deserter. She got dishonorably discharged from the Mandalorian.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
honors.
Yeah, sure.
yeah, I mean partially true. It's like it's so complicated her story, but it's great. So yeah, I'm like super excited for it. I think like a big theme of this season will be kind of like finding their own way, like everybody finding their own way, because like Grogu had to leave like Luke's Jedi temple. Mando's been cast out from like his group. Like Bo is another character who feels like kind of kicked out in some ways, but like wants to come back. But like Din has the Darksaber, which is like what she thinks that she needs, or like something she even had at one point that like kind of like was not a good thing for her. So like
Is it kind of like when that famous Hobbit had that famous ring?
yeah, it's actually like a lot like that because like it's
I legitimately forgot his name. Frodo.
I thought you just meant like Frodo or Bilbo, and we're being big on purpose.
What an idiot.
Love it.
This is a Star Wars talk. We can't talk about the other one.
Yeah. I'm gonna put money on a mythosaur in the living waters underneath Mandalore.
Okay.
Because that's like a big.
You lost me again.
Yeah,
This is
a
a big
know.
Boba Fett lore thing. So like in the holiday special, that like creature that he's on, and like if you see like Boba Fett's armor, there's that weird like skull thing that's supposed to be from a mythosaur, which is like a big deal in like Mandalore lore. It's like
Mandalore.
yeah. Thank you. And it's like these creatures that are like supposed to be extinct, but like, come on. The planet's supposed to be ravaged.
I mean,
like,
Boba
done
Fett
as
was
well.
supposed to be extinct.
Yeah,
so-
yeah, he made his way out just fine. So I think like stuff like that. I do suspect that Bo-Katan could be a bad guy this season, or at least like an antagonist for part of it. I really will be devastated if she's like killed, but I could see that happening because of all this. Like her story could come to like an interesting like arc in this,
Right.
and that's always a bad sign. But I'm super excited for Mando season 3. They definitely like implied stuff with like Boba Fett as well. So like I think that's like another Mandalorian character who's like interesting to throw into the mix, because like he doesn't follow any of these rules that any of them
No.
have, because he was never raised that way like at all. Like So
And say what you will about Boba Fett, and people have the book of Boba Fett, and people have said that they've lost respect for him because they're just because of the story that was told, and they didn't live up to what they expected from Boba Fett. I like Boba Fett more now, and he was always my favorite, but I like him more now as a character because he's a fully developed character, and he has gone through some things, right? And he's been to the edge of death and beyond, and people make fun of him snorting that lizard, but like it's kind of like his ayahuasca, his trip, his walkabout. And for me, I think you can't experience the things that he's experienced and not walk away from that changed. So he's going to be softened. Mm-hmm. He's going to be much more, a man of the people and less of a really strict bounty hunter,
And I think he's like seeking to form
mercenary.
A family and like wants to make deeper connections with some of these characters. And I do think like he would consider like Din his friend after all the stuff that happened in Book of Boba Fett. So like excited to like see some conversations with them and like what they are going to do in the next season.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, he still has to like take care of his city that he's taken over
Tatooine 2, the sequel.
I'm like, it's not Mos Espa, it's not Mos Pelga, it's the other one. No, it's not. It is Mos Espa.
Yeah.
Mos Eisley is not the one I was thinking. Okay, so last but not least, this Ahsoka trailer.
Are we still on day 2 now?
No, this was Saturday.
No, this is prior to the conference hasn't kicked off yet.
this all.
I promise.
I'm still in the airport on the way to Anaheim.
I promise I'm getting towards the end. I have like this Ahsoka trailer and then like one more thing to talk about.
No, this is good.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm so excited.
I don't know about Patrick. I am loving.
Yeah,
every
I'm
second.
Oh, good,
this is so good.
Okay, great. I'm like having so much fun talking about this, so I love it.
I'm just trying to keep track of like when this all happened because the emotions like never have gone down.
Yeah, so
it's like days of just exhaustion.
I didn't get to go to the Friday morning panel. And so I did do some other panels during the day on Friday instead. But then like this was the Saturday panel. So this was just the best.
These are the big boy panels.
Yeah.
And big girls.
Yes. Yeah. I was saying like there's two really big panels where the Lucasfilm one and this one, in my opinion.
Sure.
There were other ones that were excellent panels, but these were the ones that like all the articles were written about and stuff because of these trailers and kind of reveals and stuff. Okay, so this Ahsoka trailer was everything. Like I'm so excited about this show. Like I was already excited and I had theories, and like hopes and dreams. And it's just a continuation of Rebels. Like straight up, it is going to be a sequel to the show Rebels, which is my favorite Star Wars. It's so cool. So like the first thing you see is like Ahsoka walking into a spaceship and she's like turning on all the lights sort of, and it's you don't see enough to recognize things. And then the next shot is like a bunch Ahsoka and like 4 people walking onto this ship, and one of the people is Hera. She has green head tails, she has orange pants. It's Hera, and they're on the Ghost. And like the fact that they had Chopper there, of course, this is like even more Rebels-y
confirmation.
Like the fact that they're like taking off on the Ghost is like beyond what I could have expected. Because like if you've seen Rebels, you know that it ends with Sabine and Ahsoka teaming up to go look for Ezra and Thrawn together, because at the end of the series they disappear. This is a huge spoiler. Sorry.
That is. I haven't actually finished Rebels. So.
Oh shit! I'm sorry.
It's fine. I knew what I was getting into.
It's a long time ago, right? You've had time.
I feel like that's also very vague and doesn't spoil how it happens.
I don't like your attitude.
I haven't watched any of them, so.
I feel like that's still vague enough that it's
terribly
interesting and doesn't spoil how any of that happens.
I mean, I do know that Thrawn and Ezra are together just from Mandalorian season 2.
Okay.
So that's the conversation that's being had with Ahsoka.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not saying too
And my
much.
brother-in-law named his other kid Thrawn.
Brilliant.
And they're always together.
Brilliant. Oh, it'd be great to name like his cat Thrawn or something. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, like we see like so many of these things. We see like a kid's hand, which is like another Rebels thing, which I won't go into too much details of. That
There
I'm
were tons
excited.
of kids' hands in Rebels.
I'm just trying not to ruin things now, but yeah. So like the trailer like ends with there's like a very famous like family mural of like all the Ghost crew that Sabine has painted, and you see that at the end of Rebels. But you see like a close up of that painting and of Ezra specifically, and that's when they like zoom out and you see someone standing in front of it, and she kind of turns it around and you see that it's Sabine and like in her armor with the like season 1 hair colors and everything. So like it looks so spot on. It's like insane how much she really like
Like Tagger girl goes Mandalorian.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's how
So
that-
like Sabine,
that's who Sabine is.
Yeah, for some people who never watched Rebels, Sabine is a Mandalorian character who's also like an artist. So she graffitis all over her armor and like all over everybody else's stuff, and like she's an excellent character.
The Rebels logo, like have you ever seen the Rebels logo
The,
from
like,
the
Phoenix,
show?
yeah.
that Phoenix where it's always like spray painted with dripping paint. That's her kind of signature.
Yeah, she like invented it for the rest
You
of
don't
the
care
Rebels.
about this, but I'm
Yeah.
saying I'm just trying to prove to everyone else that I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
Yeah. So, very short, like, 30-second teaser trailer, but like the fact that we know now this is so closely tied to Rebels is like beyond exciting because like those are all my favorite characters, my favorite like storylines. Like I just like, and it was very obvious, like listening to Dave Filoni talk about this, how much this means to him and how excited he is. He was tearing up talking about like how
He's the Rebels guy.
Yes,
He's
these
the
are
guy.
his characters.
Yeah.
He invented them. Like Ahsoka is fully his character. Sabine is fully his character. Chopper is he like claims that Chopper is like his representation of himself. Like
Ahsoka is his character. So does that mean that he did Clone Wars too? So he did Clone Wars prior to Rebels.
Yes.
I forget that.
yes.
Okay.
I mean, Clone Wars isn't as like wholly his
Right,
as
because
Rebels
it's-
is, but
yeah.
like now, like Rebels was fully
'Kay.
his baby, and it was interesting like hear him and Jon Favreau talk about how, like their relationship and like how they've built each other up to kind of like work together on different things. Where he's like, like Jon Favreau's like, Dave, Star Wars, I know movies. You need to get from cartoons into live action movies and TV shows. I can help you, and you can help me write the stories that fit this universe best.
So far,
it's really cool to see.
They've got a pretty
that.
good track record.
They literally seem like they are like brothers or something. Like their relationship seems like really awesome. Like it was cool to watch how they like supported each other. Like
They should never be on the same roller coaster at the same time. Is what you're saying.
Again, insurance
they
company.
know too many
hate 'em.
secrets. But yeah, so like basically, I would say that like the Ahsoka show is going to just be like the search for Thrawn and Ezra, and like I guess Thrawn would maybe be the easier thread to follow because no one knew Ezra existed. As like really, but like it's very very exciting like territory. So that will be awesome.
When's the release date for that one?
I don't remember.
Never mind.
Stumped her.
They did say all this stuff,
Sorry.
but I was trying to remember like the details of the trailer, so like the dates
Don't
kind of
worry.
went out
So
of my head.
Andor comes out September. I think this one comes out September 3rd.
Oh,
They're just trying to jam it all in there.
I would be exhausted.
I do think they said like early next year.
Yeah,
maybe?
2023.
Yeah,
Sure.
it won't be this year, but like whenever we get it, it's gonna be amazing.
Well, it's not like we have to wait without stuff. Like,
Yeah,
there's so
yeah,
much
yeah.
stuff.
That's also true. Yeah,
They're re-releasing Phantom Menace.
Wow. Like a remastered version?
yeah.
it's even shinier now.
That's really funny, everybody. Good job.
I think like one last like nugget of information that I picked up from that show, and I kind of mentioned this before, is like they stressed like how much these shows will interact with each other, which is something I was really curious after Boba Fett, because I was like, I don't love that like half this show ended up being the Mando show, but the 2 episodes we got are my favorite thing. So I'm just gonna shut up because I like freaked out over those episodes. So like I wouldn't rather not have them. That's for sure. So
Yeah.
I think like the expectation going forward is they are like a lot more integrated. So like I would assume like they're not gonna find like Thrawn in season 1 probably. They're gonna like do a big team up moment and have all the shows come together, because like I can like see threads where this could all tie together already, and I think that would be the coolest, because like a lot of these shows are taking place in the same time zone, and Jon Favreau specifically said like we can't like have events happen and then just act like people don't know about it.
Yeah. So going back to something that was said a little earlier in a previous episode, they have already greenlit season 2 of Obi-Wan Kenobi because of the exceedingly it far exceeded any of the
Viewing,
the viewing.
It also seems like
it broke records upon records, and so they've
Yeah.
already greenlit season 2.
I'm a little disappointed. I hope that they don't go too far, because like they're like, okay, I'm gonna say what I was gonna say in our regular episode now. The whole like Grand Inquisitor thing in that show is baffling, because like he's a huge character in Rebels. He's the main bad guy, and he's very much alive.
We don't know that he's dead.
He's not. I mean, he can't be.
Right? Yeah.
He
we
can't
don't know
be.
that- just like Darth Maul.
I was like, yeah, he's either gonna get like a modded body.
Just like Boba Fett.
yeah. I was like, he's gonna get a modded body. He could be cloned, because they're
Yeah.
setting up more and more clone stuff, I think.
Which would also explain why he's so freaking weird looking.
Yeah.
He's kind of Snokean. He looks like a mid-range human person to Snoke. Like, okay, I could see this being like a tester.
Yeah, I could. That would be interesting, actually, because like I think that like that whole program is like part of like why Snoke and like the Palpatine clone things exist anyway, because like that they were like trying to like kidnap Force-sensitive kids to either convert or like join us or die.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So like that's just all cool stuff to kind of.
So he's not dead. We can.
He can't be dead. It's just not possible.
And also how quickly that went.
I mean, I saw it coming anyway, but like
I'm just saying, like given the time of all of these things, like it's not done. He's not done.
No, like you can't. Either way, like I said before, like either there is an answer for this, because it's not like they don't know that this character was in like 4 seasons of this other show.
Right.
Like,
there's a reason why they put him in this show.
Yeah,
it's
and
because he was such a huge character in these other shows. Yeah.
So just kind of and like at this point, well, this is episode 3 thing, but like, how is Darth Vader not going to know about these kids at this point? Like, it's getting dangerous. Like,
well, I can see without. We'll talk about this offline.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I think there's very easy on road to him still not knowing.
yeah.
And I think that they're writing that show extremely.
You know what I would actually like love season 2 to be is actually like this one is Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then the next one is basically like Anakin at this exact same time, and you're seeing it from his perspective.
That'd be so cool.
That would be
cool.
excellent.
And, yeah, and I'll talk about the other stuff offline because it does start to get a little spoilery. But
Yeah.
I think this show is being handled really, really well. I think
Yeah.
right now is a fantastic time to be a Star Wars fan.
Yeah, it's just like so freaking exciting, especially like to like have come out of that weekend and then like see that like that show and everything. Like, oh my gosh, just like the best.
I wasn't pumped for Kenobi at all, and then after the first 3 episodes, I was like, oh, like this is serious. Like this is gonna be so good.
I really thought
I'm
they were
really
gonna
pumped.
do a different direction. Like I thought it was gonna be like a lot of flashbacks, and you
Yeah.
would like, no,
so good.
No, it got you
It's much
and
better.
And the way that they handled getting you up to speed where you didn't necessarily have to watch 7 things before this because they did that like previously on Dawson's Creek, but it was like just enough information to get you up to speed and give you the pinging moments that would matter to the show. You could join Star Wars right now, watch Obi-Wan, and still get a sense of like, what? Like because of how they did that like 3-minute opening like credits.
Oh, that's another thing. That thing was not there when I saw it the first time, so I actually like was really surprised when I
Oh.
rewatched it and got that recap.
Oh, they didn't show that to you in the room.
No, because I think they're like, these nerds know what's up.
They know. Okay.
They don't need a
Well,
recap.
but I do think I think that was super helpful, even as a
No.
nerd.
Yeah,
like,
I
thought it was like,
actually really liked it anyway because it was just like compelling. Like it was
Yeah.
a really good recap.
These are so good too. Like I haven't watched most of the animated series, and now I'm like, oh, I want to go watch all those.
They're
now.
so good.
Right.
Yeah,
But,
and
like,
I think like
I just haven't cared, and like these are so good, and you can tell, like you were saying, like if you haven't watched all these things, there's stuff you miss in Kenobi, and there's things where I was like, I think I get what's going on, but like there's probably something I'm missing, and now I'm like, I gotta go watch everything.
I mean, I highly recommend the cartoons like so much.
I know you're the only person who has been like, you need to watch them. I'm
Especially
like, all right.
Rebels more than anything else. Like especially knowing where Mando stuff is going, I think Rebels will be the most rewarding. But Clone Wars is
I
excellent.
should start with Clone Wars, right?
But Clone Wars is kind of understood by most fans as being a quintessential part of the Star Wars.
I love it. I mean, I rewatched all of Clone Wars before
From what I
Celebration.
understand, it makes, and I
Only
haven't
skipped
finished
one episode.
I never finished Clone Wars, so I've seen most of it. But
The end
like
is the best part.
the point of it is to kind of make up for the first, like, without, you can't have a full appreciation of episodes 1, 2, and 3 without watching the Clone Wars. In a lot of ways,
Sure.
it saved episodes 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
It does 100% like enrich those movies in a way that is like insane.
It
Like,
makes those movies supplemental to the show.
Yes,
as
honestly,
opposed to
yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes, because like the story that they're telling in that is like it's what they should have done for those movies instead of boring trade
Right.
politics and stuff. But like but when you see the whole story like with all these parts, you're like, that's why they talked about that so much. It's actually super important, but like they didn't explain it well,
Right.
or like you're missing these other pieces that make it a lot more compelling. So it's I like the prequel movies a lot more after watching Clone Wars. I will say that for sure. Yeah. But there another cartoon. Last one thing to talk about really, and that is the Bad Batch panel. I think like Bad Batch is probably the like least essential cartoon other than Squadrons, which even I haven't watched.
Visions.
I love visions, but
But that's not essential at all.
yeah, because it's because they broke all the rules in that show.
Yes.
Which they are going to do Vision season 2 as
know, I
well,
saw
which is
that.
cool. So love that. But yeah, Bad Batch season 2. This trailer is now online. It wasn't when I first left, but they've released it since then. I do really enjoy the Bad Batch. Kind of like some of it is a little childish sometimes, but I think like the overarching story is excellent.
All
Like
the wiener punches.
the last like 3 episodes like really lift that show up so much compared to the rest of it. But like I'm very excited to like see where it goes. I like the characters. Like they gave a whole new look to like all the Bad Batch guys. Omega's older. She has like a new outfit as well. So like that was cool. And then they have like a lot of like cool different fight scenes. They're definitely like implying that like they really need to like figure out something new because like they kind of messed around a lot in season 1 of like whether or not to like be part of the Empire or not, because like basically the story of Bad Batch is like they're slightly defective clones, and so like when Order 66 happened, they didn't get they didn't get the message, so they just did whatever they wanted. So they like defected from the Empire and they're doing their own thing. I'm not able to keep up with the chat, I realized at all. So sorry,
You're
guys.
fine. They're rooting you on.
Great. So
She's on page 1.5. You for those
no,
of you who asked.
no. But yeah, the main highlight I would say from this trailer is, and this is for Clone Wars fans the most, but like Crosshair is like the one Bad Batcher that decides to stick with the Empire. Like, so one of their brothers stays behind, and that's like kind of the crux of the story. And his name is Crosshair, and he's like clearly creating like a special forces unit, and he picks Commander Cody, who was like Obi-Wan's dude.
Yeah.
Like that was like his best friend clone guy. So like as soon as Commander Cody came on screen, everybody lost it, and he's a great character. I really wanted him to be in Kenobi, like really badly, but like seeing that they're doing something with his character in this show like gives me hope that could happen, and or like that they haven't forgot about him. He's a great character.
What did you
Like
say about Andor?
I know. They kept saying he's the greatest improver in the world. But I think Bad Batch season 2 will probably be very similar, like kind of vibe and everything to season 1. They have a lot of like backdoor rebel stuff in that, so of course I like all of that. So
Backdoor Rebels is the name of your other podcast, right, Patrick?
Wait, this was a joke. Okay.
But that trailer is online now. Y'all can watch it. But the highlight of the panel, I would say, was the guy who does all the clones' voices is one guy, and he just does a different voice. So the entire panel, he just performed it as the different Bad
fun.
Batchers.
like a radio.
Yeah,
play.
and
What is it,
so
like
much
radio
to
plays?
the point that the host just started asking him questions as the character.
the
He's like,
characters.
what would Tech think of this? What would
That's
Wrecker
cool.
do? It was
That's cool.
hilarious. And he's so great. So that was like very fun to
awesome.
watch. Because they're like 5 totally different voices.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would recommend
Like,
checking that out.
Winslow, what's his name that famously does all the sound effects? That's what it reminds me of.
Carl Winslow.
Carl Weathers.
It is Winslow because I always have
But
to
he
think
is also a black cop.
Yes, because he plays in he's
Oh.
in Naked Gun. He's in
No.
Police
Carl
Academy.
Winslow is
Okay,
also a black
yes,
cop.
Carl Winslow is as well, but also the actor that I'm referring to that
Yes.
does the voice. Whatever. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
LeVar Burton.
Nope.
Okay, back on track. Sorry, I was trying to catch up in the
Whoa,
chat.
she just scolded you.
Can you believe Will said that about me in chat?
No.
Cannot
I
believe
love that the entire world who's watching right now can see that you typed that on his phone. And you're physically being documented right now. I love it.
When we put this on YouTube, we should put like little speech bubbles. Like, what is Patrick thinking this whole time?
Oh my gosh, can we edit that in? That'd be
Yes.
great.
Yeah.
Yes.
This would make Patrick's job really hard.
It's
before
gonna be
it goes on
in a
YouTube.
minute, Amanita.
the money should jingle, not jiggle.
It doesn't rhyme as good. Okay, so I'll just say a couple like quick highlights of like other announcements that came out that I think are cool, and then I promise I'm done. So Tales of the Jedi is another really cool show that was like not on my radar 100%. I really wish I had gone to this panel because I heard they actually screened the first whole episode of this show.
Oh,
but it's
wow.
a new animated show that they're going to be doing that is kind of split in 2 halves. It'll be 3 episodes per character, and one half is Ahsoka and the other half is Dooku.
Oh, that's right. I saw concept art of Dooku.
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
they showed like concept art of like younger Dooku. He has like black hair, no beard, everything. I wonder if they have Christopher Lee coming back to voice
I
him.
bet
That
they
would be-
do. I
or,
bet
or
they
no,
do.
he's dead.
I bet they have a voice
But,
actor
yeah.
doing it. They're
I
having
don't know why. I
They're
just
having
had
Val
that
Kilmer
whole
do it.
thing live on air. Great. Yeah, so like that would be cool. And then like the Ahsoka stuff, they showed her as like a little baby. So like interesting.
Jedi Robbie's just
I
confirmed
know. I'm
Christopher
sorry.
Lee is
I'm
dead.
sorry. I feel really embarrassed, honestly, that I said that.
They
But
probably have enough audio of him though that they could just clip it.
well,
all
they
together.
do
Wouldn't that
that
be
whole
crazy?
thing with Darth Vader and Kenobi anyway. So like I don't know how that works, but yeah, sure. Like there's some way to do something with that. I think the show will be like both of those are characters that have like a really rich history. So I think like kind of digging into their like earlier life is really interesting, especially Dooku. I think because like he affects a lot, but I don't know very much about like him as like his personality or like.
I
his,
hope they show the origin of his lightsaber and the weird like cane lightsaber. Yeah, the old man lightsaber.
Yeah.
It'd be the lightsaber you'd have if you had a lightsaber, Patrick.
He's just
It's
he's interesting because like he was also like he's Yoda's apprentice and was also like Qui-Gon's master for a while. So like he's just an interesting guy to
I
like
did not know
talk-
that.
Yeah, so I think that would be like a really like that one might be the like highlight honestly. So I think that looks really cool. And then I don't remember when they said that's coming out, but I think later this year. And then they had a bunch of video game announcements. They're doing a sequel to Jedi Fallen Order and they had a trailer for that. I haven't played that game, so I'm not gonna
Jedi
act like I
Fallen
know.
Order is a fantastic game.
Yeah, I just don't have an Xbox. So
You want that one?
sure. Thank you.
That's a pop Xbox. Right? That's my Kia.
it's like it's a hollow box.
But yeah, so like it looks cool. Like the trailer looks cool. I just don't know necessarily like enough to relay anything. You can watch it online though now, so that's easy. And then
That's got the kid who played the Joker in
Gotham.
Gotham.
Yeah. He's also in Shameless.
Shameless,
That's what I
yeah.
think of him
Me
as.
too.
Yeah.
It's hard to see him as that character, knowing his character in Shameless.
Yeah, I agree. On the video game front, they also announced that Knights of the Old Republic will have a sequel, which
saw that.
I loved. Like I have very fond memories of Knights of the Old Republic. My brother played it a lot. I mostly watched him play, honestly. But that's like such a good game. I think that they're re-releasing that for Switch. Also,
I was gonna say I thought they were doing a remastered version of that
yes,
game.
it is remastered. They said like basically I have like a DLC to it, which is cool. So like I probably will replay that to be honest.
What's the game that had the Shadow? I think was the name of the ship. And the guy with the single shoulder piece that was metal.
Revan or no, that's a different game.
I'm trying to remember that, but it came out on Nintendo 64. Like old school game, and the main bad guy of that one was like a purple faced dude with like a ponytail, like a shaved head with a ponytail.
I don't know this one.
Shadows of
actually.
the Empire.
Oh, okay,
Shadows of the
okay.
Empire.
Jedi
Okay.
is telling us while we're talking.
Shadows of the
thank you.
Empire.
Yeah, okay.
Look at that.
Oh, I was not totally off. Okay, but
Yeah, Dash Rendar. Yeah,
yeah,
that's.
and then Jedi.
I
they
thought
are.
that's what they were re-releasing, but I guess
They are
re-releasing Knights of the
real.
Republic.
No, they're doing Knights of the Old Republic re-release and a sequel. So
Yeah.
I don't know if they're coming out together, like at the same time necessarily, or if it's like
Maybe.
staggered. But like, very excited. Like I think that's cool. Let me see. Oh, and then I actually forgot to mention this on like the regular podcast, but I got to see the Ringerverse live, which is like my favorite podcast, and they did a great Star Wars special. They did excellent coverage. So if you think I forgot anything, you can go listen to their very, very in-depth coverage because they did basically the same thing I did, where they did their like instant reactions to things.
If you forgot anything, it's information I probably don't care about.
Yeah, but you'll probably get to see these trailers like tomorrow, and that'll be really embarrassing. But I kept thinking that like especially the Mando one, they would release it like by the end of the week or something.
They're making your tickets all the more valuable by holding off on these things.
Yeah, I'm like really pleasantly surprised like how much
Or
was
maybe
actually exclusive.
maybe after they showed it to you guys, were like, that wasn't the reaction we wanted, so we're gonna go back. We're scrapping this whole project.
I just realized this whole time I could have done this.
I could have been downstairs watching 90 Day Fiance.
Yeah, but now you can go watch 90 Day Fiance. I think I've said everything that I can say about Star Wars Celebration.
I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
So this is your first celebration.
Yes.
And it sounds like it lived up to all your expectations.
Yeah, totally.
do you want to go to another celebration more now that you've been to one? Like,
Yes.
are you yearning for it?
Yeah, because I think like the FOMO will be so much worse next year because I know exactly what I'm missing.
I bet.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. But I wonder how big it will be in London. I mean, because a lot of the people who are there are local to here, right? Like, so I wonder how much more the celebrity base was because.
But isn't historically
And they're literally
like
filming
a lot of
down the
staff
street.
and filming is in England?
I'm not a big history buff, so I don't
Yeah. You're not very buff.
I'm sure they'll be able to like figure it out. Like it's
airfare. I'm sure they can probably figure it out.
it's like one of the most like powerful entities.
They can take
in the universe, like,
George
right now,
Lucas's
yeah.
Learjet over. I think that they'll be fine.
Yeah,
What
I
was
think they have
the,
like PJs for everybody.
What was the jet?
Concorde.
The Concorde. Yeah, he
Yeah.
has his own personal Concorde. Yeah, he calls it the Anakin.
Jedi says a lot of Star Wars scenes were filmed in England.
Yes, I
Yeah.
get that, but that doesn't mean that's where the actors live. Like that was my.
Oh,
That
like
was my point.
C-3PO is British. And
Cool. So you'll have him there. You'll.
Chewie, I think,
Ewan
was
McGregor's
British.
Scottish, right? Like yeah.
Weren't
There's a
we
handful.
all British at one time?
And that's something that you need to think about. The more you know. Can you edit that in? Okay, so then one thing that I do want to point out, because I don't want us to forget this, we had a good friend who was part of the community who went and tabled there,
Oh my
right?
gosh,
And
thank
you got
I
to
have so
you
many
got to
things
hang out
remember.
with her. You got to hang out with her the whole
Just add
time.
it to your list.
And the reason that she got to table there is because she was specifically doing an officially licensed piece with Lucasfilm and Acme Archive. And that person is Kate Carlton.
Yes.
Her piece was specifically like a gig poster for the Max Rebo band. Super fun, cool piece.
The
Tell
Jabba's
us,
Palace edition.
tell us what we're gonna do with that.
So we're gonna be doing a giveaway for a copy of Kate's Max Rebo poster.
Yes.
That's all the details we have, it sounds like.
Yeah. I don't know how we want to do the giveaway.
Yeah, that's a great question. So let's do this. We're gonna do a giveaway. We need to put some structure around it and put a timeline around it because I think there's a lot of people that want to get in on this.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll do this. We're going to on our next Pop Culture Roundtable, we'll announce the details of the giveaway, and we'll push those on social as well. And then we'll probably let whatever it is run for a week and then actually do it. So
And we'll probably put a link to that in the description of this YouTube video.
Yeah. So we'll make sure that the most people possible have an opportunity at this because it's a super
very cool
piece.
print. It's
Yeah,
very
it's
cool.
excellent. Yes.
It's very cool for Kate to give it away because she's not even allowed to sell these.
Yes.
The ones that are left over, and she only has a few left over from the
And there were only
convention.
250 ever made, so like very exclusive.
There's a
And,
couple left.
I think if you ask nicely, she'll even sign it.
I'm gonna
think-
be honest. I don't think she will. I talked to her.
She can't charge for the print, but she charges $300 for her signature.
Jedi's reminding us to get our magnets from you, Patrick.
No.
Well, it sounds like we missed out on a good time. We had the opportunity to go, and I'm shamefully regretful that we didn't. But I'm
Maybe
glad
next
you
time.
did get to go. Of all of us getting to go, you make the most sense.
Yeah.
So thanks for recapping it for us. Next time we're gonna try to get out there with you. Maybe we'll do some stuff live from there next time.
I hope I didn't bore you to death, Patrick.
Yeah. And hopefully by then they'll have invented a way for us to get there.
Yeah,
Maybe by then you'll have watched some of the movies. I'm just kidding.
No, he's not a huge fan of Star Trek. So on that
Yeah.
note, you can find this on you can find us on Twitter week in and week out where we talk about. Did I say Twitter?
Yeah, I was like, we don't use Twitter that much.
Maybe you want to do this outro.
Yeah, so you can find us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Move1Podcast, where week in and week out we talk about, thankfully not Star Wars, because this would be exhausting.
Sorry.
But every Tuesday and Thursday we have something going on. Pop Culture Roundtable, Drawing Board, Dungeons and Designers, more stuff coming up as well.
If you liked this episode, though, you will like a lot of what we talk about.
Yes, absolutely. You can also find the audio version of the show, Spotify and
Apple Podcasts.
podcasts and Stitcher and all the places you get podcasts. You can find that. M of One Network. Subscribe, rate, and review. If you review, we'll read it on the air. You people are over here right now. And then of course M1.network. That's where you can find all of our episodes, past episodes, show notes, links to things we've talked about, and you can find socials to connect with us. You can join our Slack community, you can join Discord, and then you can also just follow us on socials and talk to us there. We'll just go down the line. Lauren, where do people find you?
Not Cool Co. And you can feel free to talk to me about Star Wars anytime.
Andrew.
I'm at Andrew Sale with 3s instead of E's, and you can talk to Lauren about Star Wars anytime.
Will.
At Will Churin, and yeah, talk to Lauren.
Yeah, and I'm just talk to Lauren. And again, the giveaway stuff we're going to announce on our next Pop Culture Roundtable. We'll put it there.
Perfect.
And it's out of respect for Kate as well for being so generous and offering this to the community. We just want to make sure that, again, we get in front of as many people, give it as much time, all that kind of stuff. So that's the reason that we're going to, kind of take the next 2 weeks to actually give it away. But stay tuned. Pay attention. Stay tuned to the next Pop Culture Roundtable for that information on how you can get that. Brent, anything else?
I don't think so.
No.
Close
Actually
credits.
said everything.
Close
Thanks,
credits.
Lauren.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
problem.
And
This
so
is
with
the
that-
best.
Directed by.
Yeah.
So why don't you sign us out of this episode?
Oh.
You just made her nervous. She peed.
May the force be with you.